Happy Monday, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Toys, the Universe, and Everything. This week in the Dad Cave, we're playing Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the SEGA Genesis. We all know the King of Pop was bad, but what about his video game? Well, like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, transform into a super robot that can moonwalk, and let's play Moonwalker for SEGA Genesis. Long before DC's Captain Marvel was renamed Captain Sparklefingers in the film Shazam to avoid awkward legalities, Michael Jackson was glistening up the place thanks to this action platformer by SEGA. Released for the arcade, Master System, and Genesis, Moonwalker was the beginning of a long relationship between the King of Pop and the House of Hedgehog. Jackson would go on to contribute music for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and appear in Space Channel 5, Space Channel 5 2, and even Ready to Rumble for the Sega Dreamcast. In Michael's first video game outing, you play as Michael to rescue Katie. Multiple Katies. All Katies. They'll look like Katie. We're just gonna say they're all Katie. And defeat the evil Mr. Big. Presumably, not the one from Atari's Scrapyard Dog, but one can never tell. In the game, you can jump and attack with the power of positivity and even moonwalk. You can charge up a health-draining magic attack with your hat, or an uber health-draining dance-off attack where Michael will dance his enemies to death. Yeah, that's a thing. In each stage, you must find all the Katies before Bubbles will lead you to the stage boss for a showdown. I know this sounds like I'm making it all up, but that is seriously how the game works. Occasionally, a falling star will fly across the stage and transform Michael into a super robot that can fly and shoot laser beams out of his eyes. Dr. Evil style. The final stage of the game is a simplified Afterburner Galaxy Force shooter where you must take down Mr. Big's spaceship because why not? If Mr. Big has all of these thugs and weapons and zombies and spaceships at his disposal, why does he need to kidnap these Katie children? Why are there so many Katies? Why was this not on Sega CD? Why did they cut Thriller from the soundtrack? Why am I playing this game 30 years later? Why does every gaming website have cheat codes for this game that don't work? Seriously, if any of you know how to get the 15 lives trick to work, let me know in the comments. I left it out of this review because after 30 minutes of trying, I give up. When I do a review, I like to look back at retro magazines like EGM or GamePro to see what critics of the day thought of these games. When I looked for Moonwalker, all I got was a two-page puff piece from GamePro. I'm sure to get access they had to agree to be positive about the game. I can only guess what the NDA looked like for this game. The funny thing is, I've always liked it. It wasn't the best game ever or anything, but it is quirky enough to give it at least some attention. The graphics are really solid for the Genesis. Many times I feel like the Sega games fall into the slick Japanese titles, and then there are the clunky North American developed games that hit or miss. Moonwalker, as odd as it is, has that Sega spit polish. Michael animates like the smooth criminal he is. His moonwalk is even included, though it only really serves a purpose in one spot in the game. His dance-offs are cool to watch, with a bunch of enemies on the screen. Even the dogs got moves. But you'll feel gypped to see the occasional enemy herd exit stage left because they didn't get the moves programmed to dance with Michael. Most stages look really nice, but the Smooth Criminal and Thriller levels are way beyond the others. A lot of interactive set pieces. The only real diss I have visually is the Mr. Big Spaceship finale that looks like it could have been done on the Master System. Why go for a scaling shooter finale on hardware that can't easily do scaling is beyond me. Why Sega would release hardware without scaling when most of their arcade hits are super scalers like Outrun and Afterburner is really perplexing. But when it comes to Moonwalker, the oddest decision has to be why they cut the tune for Thriller from the final game. They did apparently have it completed as a prototype. It's surfaced in recent years. Another part of me is a decent track, but a Michael Jackson video game with zombies in a cemetery seems lacking without MJ's signature track. Yeah, I know, Katie clones, bubbles, robots, spaceship dogfights, and what bothers me is Thriller got cut from the audio. I know my priorities are weird. There are a few voice samples from the One Gloved One in the game, but you'll hear Katie almost as much as him. The songs are well presented, and it is cool to hear these familiar tracks as chiptunes, even though Thriller isn't one of them. The gameplay is odd, but that can be said of, a lot of Sega's more memorable titles. Choo Choo Rocket is strange, Crazy Taxi is goofy, Seaman is whatever the heck that is. Moonwalker is just another example of Sega being Sega. The gameplay is solid enough and it can be challenging. The biggest gameplay grumble I had was trying to hit a stupid spider with Michael's sparkle attack. Pixie dust. Positivity powder? Whatever that is. It can be very jarring to wrap your head around the last level of gameplay also that comes completely out of left field. The ship controls are like trying to drive a car while wearing a driver's ed beer goggles while a gorilla shakes your face. You zig, it zags, just mash buttons and hope. So, should you pick up Moonwalker for your collection? If you aren't a Jackson fan or a Sega fan, then no. If you like either Michael Jackson or Sega or goofy video games that have no right to exist but here they are, then yes. Seriously, this thing is the Plan 9 from outer space of video games. It is the Superman 4, the quest for peace of video games. It only exists because no one was going to tell Michael Jackson or Sega that this game was too insane to exist. So by the sheer power of their obliviousness, here it is. The duck-billed platypus of video games. However, like every other early Sega Genesis release, Sega is Sega, and somehow it is still worth playing because Sega. The company that makes Super Monkey Ball, and somehow it's worth playing. 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker? Yep, somehow decent game. So whatever, play it. But what is your favorite oddball Sega game? Let me know in the comments, or just let me know what your favorite Michael Jackson song is. Yes, that song by Rockwell, we'll say that counts. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and no matter what your questions are about toys, the universe, and everything, remember, the answer is always to have fun. And if you're rescuing kidnapped children that all look like, they all look alike, jump into a falling star so you can become a powerful super robot, because all of those things make sense if you're the king of pop. I really do appreciate you spending time with me. If you want to me to do more like this, please subscribe, like, share on your social media so I can grow the channel. Until next time, everybody.